Hi, and welcome to JD's Longbox. I'm your host, JD. For this episode, we're taking a look at Brandon Peterson's Arcanum, published by Top Cow and Image Comics in 1997. The writing and pencils were by Brandon Peterson. The inks were by Batt, Art Thibert with Sean Parsons, Tim Townsend, Joe Weems, and Brandon Peterson with Victor Llamas. The colorist was Richard Isanove. The story starts with 20-year-old Ming Chang, a survivor of the Tiananmen Square massacre, who is now living in Santa Monica, California, where she's studying to be a doctor. She's attacked by a hunter and discovers she has the powers to take life or restore it. Ming is introduced to a shadow war between magical avatars. Though she is rescued by the heroic mages, when she's captured by the opposing force, their leader Franklin Blake explains his side of the story and tries to win her sympathy, if only to add her power to his army. Ming is torn between the opposing yin and yang forces of light and dark, until the Avatar of Death informs her there are a select few that can walk the fine line between sides and remain neutral. Part 1. Writing. Was the main character's motivation clear? Ming remained passive, mostly wishing the others would just leave her alone. The interwoven backstories of the other characters often drove the plot. This gets a 7.5. Did the writer make me care about the protagonist and her goal? I had a hard time connecting with any of the characters, mostly because there was so much going on, without any focus on any one of the characters' desires. This gets a 7. Did I feel menaced by the antagonists? The bad guys were definitely up to no good, first hiring a hunter to brutally kill Ming, then trying to recruit the newest avatar so they can corrupt her power of life and death. This gets an 8. Were there interesting twists and turns? There are a number of major plot twists that put the heroes in higher and higher danger, from losing their secret base to having their sneak attack turn into an ambush. The biggest plot twist was Ming's decision on where she will fit into this never-ending war. This gets a 9. Pacing. The adventure zips along with new concepts introduced every few pages, but the dialogue slows everything down to a snail's pace. This gets a 6.5. Dialogue. One or two of the characters had notable accents. Ming threw in medical diagnoses, and Luis Benitez's dialogue was lifted from lyrics of songs by The Doors. This gets an 8.5. Were the characters interesting? There was a strong attempt to make each of the characters unique and memorable, but with just a short-run story arc, they didn't stand out enough to become classics. This gets an 8. Part 2. Pencils. Does the style match the story or genre? The artwork is clean and detailed, fitting for an urban fantasy world with both ordinary people and sorcerers in exotic magical armor. This gets a 9. Is there good storytelling? Brandon Peterson's strengths are in close-ups and full body shots. The dialogue and facial expression does most of the storytelling, while once or twice in the issue his use of juxtaposition and body language can tell a story that words can't convey. This gets a 7.5. Line art. Peterson's fine line work shows intricate details in the costumes. He draws flawless anatomy, and his hair is distinctly stylized. Combined, this makes for a unique art style that's fun to look at. This gets an 8.5. Character designs. The characters have a unique style while sharing a design language that makes them all look like they fit into the same universe, but at times it was hard to tell the various characters apart. This gets an 8.5. Costumes. The costumes all had detailed designs, but I wish that they had more character and stronger color theory. Ming's costume is green as the Avatar of Life, and Baron's is black leather as the Avatar of Death. Nasir's costume has a regal Egyptian design with the blue and gold you would expect from a peacekeeper, and Benitez, whose mountain of rubble was a unique design and fitting for his character as a Slav. But the rest all just blended together and don't tell me what their powers or personalities are. This gets an 8. Props and scenery. There are almost no backgrounds or props in this book. We only got good backgrounds in the Asylum, the safe zone with doorways to every city. That reminds me of Relativity Lattice by M.C. Escher. This gets a 7. Panel flow. Peterson keeps the panel count low with clearly defined gutters, making the pages easy to read even in places that don't smoothly lead your eye from one panel to the next. This gets an 8. Part 3. Inks. Does the style match the story? Inks are clean, clear, and precise and work great for modern-day fantasy. This gets a 9. Does the line weight add to the definition, shape, and depth? For an image book from the mid-90s, inks are extremely clean with rich black shadows and minimal cross-hatching. This gets an 8.5. Could the images stand alone in black and white, or does it need color to make the images clear? The ink work could stand alone in black and white, but the color really brings it to life. This gets an 8. Part 4. Colors. Does it set the right mood? The colors are bold and bright, fitting for a superhero comic more than a book about wizards and mages. But the book plays out like a superhero comic, making the colors a suitable match. This gets a 9. Is there clean definition and separation? In most cases, the pairing of warm and cool colors within a panel clearly separates the characters from the background. This gets a 9. Does the color enhance the overall experience? Isanove has an eye for beautiful combinations of hues, and his bold color choice makes every page dynamic and exciting. This gets a 9.5. Overall score. This gets 164 points, or an 82%. Final take. Thanks in no small part to Image comics like Spawn, Witchblade, and Darkchild, that took the tropes and aesthetics of superhero comics and leaned heavily into the supernatural elements. Brandon Peterson's Arcanum gives us a team book with bright costumes and amazing powers in a world of magic and mages, hidden cities and avatars, the living manifestations of their elemental powers, and their eons-long war to control humanity. His creator-owned attempt at writing and drawing a complete story may have been a bit too ambitious, launching too many characters and concepts at once. For a book that was nice to look at, it was at times hard to follow and lacked any iconic characters to grab onto. This probably led to its early cancellation with issue number 8. For a collector, this means that it's a really short run if you're looking for a series to collect. It's a fun read with nice art and scenario not found in other comics. If you like this review of Arcanum, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out some of my other videos. Until next time, I'm JD, and this box is closed.